Welcome to a new video with a really bad microphone. I'm sorry. This is a little drafted out commentary because I got an alright time. It's not a crazy time, it's like a 22-minute time. But I saw somebody saying, oh, you know what would go really hard? Some draft out commentary. So here is a draft out commentary video and we'll see how it goes. It might be awful, it might be incredible. You can see, presently I am drafting. I've drafted a few things, like the Zombie Piglin one. Did I draft Zombie Piglin? I actually don't remember. No, I did 10 advancements. Oh, shiny. What's the lamp? Then I must have done Kill Snow Golem in the Nether, Dispenser, then Coarse Dirt, and now I'm saying Cobweb in case we pick endgame goals down the road. Because I like endgame goals, because I'm a speedrunner, so I want to generally, I'll push for them, or I'll push for things that get us into the nether. But there's also a lot of early game stuff. I like to avoid early game stuff generally, but that is what it is. Yeah, anyway, so the drafting is going to keep going on, and I really hope they pick Enderod, but of course they do not, and that's really sad. But yeah, I can record this and I can play lots of draft out and lots of ranked and practice for gridlock and everything, because I have finished my university course. Well, let's say finished. I've finished it for the year. I've obviously still got 2 more. I've just finished my first year of an undergraduate degree in English literature. Yippee. I've handed in all my essays and now we're having a look at the world, and I'm going to jump between fun anecdote and talking about the game, but I don't even know what the anecdote is that I'm talking about yet. I will be completely honest with you, but hey ho. That's okay. Currently I'm doing PIDAR to try and find a village. TLDR, it doesn't work here because I'm stupid, and I'm also, like, I'm trying to multitask both finding a village but also trying to progress the game beyond that. There's a load of early game things that could be done in a village but also don't have to be done in a village. So I don't really know what the plan is, but then I see this pillager outpost and I think, oh well, what can I get from this pillager outpost? Actually, nothing relevant, I'll be completely honest, but I'm going to go for it anyway, which is silly. But yeah, no, so I've finished it, I've written all of my essays, I'm waiting for them to be marked. Oh, I get stuck in powdered snow. This could be so fast if I didn't get stuck in powdered snow. I lose like an entire 20 seconds. Anyway. I did some really fun essays. I did the stylistics of Godot. Which was like, stylistics is a really thorough, in-depth grammatical and lexical, like words, mechanical. It's almost like a mathematical approach to English. And so I looked at kind of the sum of how Godot is created, the additions and subtractions and division that goes on in terms of the words to create that. I also want to get this for the Snow Golem in the Nether, but I also messed up. I could have done this faster if I'd have made a shovel now and got some stone. That's besides the point. That was a really fun essay. That was, I think, 2,500 words, and I just had to pick a small section of Waiting for Godot to talk about. So I did the end of Act 1, which is very fun. Then the other essays I did, or don't get me started on History of English. I did a History of English module because I got kicked off the linguistics theory module because I don't do English language, I do English lit. That was a whole ordeal. They didn't tell me I needed prerequisites, and then I did need prerequisites, and then I'd been to a number of classes, I'd started doing the tests, but hey ho. So I joined this module late and it's something I'm not interested in. Thankfully I've already passed because of the quizzes. But the essay was like, I had to compare this bit of Bible over 4 different bits of time, and it was just not fun. I'll be completely honest with you. It was boring. I'm not a big fan of the Bible. I can't imagine you might be a big fan of the Bible. Who knows? But it was just really dull and boring, and actually what we were doing there was not very fun, because we weren't talking about like how accents had changed and the words that we were using had changed, but we're kind of talking about how they'd like physically changed rather than semantically, which here's what the history of English is, so that's like fair enough and fine, but it just was not what I particularly wanted to spend my time doing. But I did, and then my last essay was also a really fun essay, maybe my favourite, though I love Waiting for Godot, so that was probably my favourite, was I did Thomas Gray's Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard, a very famous poem about death. I did that, but looking at it through the perspective of nature, criticising the anthropocentric perception that Gray has of the world. Anthropocentric being about putting humans at the centre, which is something that's I think really, really important to think about. I don't think it's important to put humans at the centre of the world. You know, it comes from a very old idea of heliocentrism, and heliocentrism was the belief of no, not heliocentrism. What's the other one? I don't remember, but it predates heliocentrism, sorry. Heliocentrism, of course, is the belief that we rotate around the sun, which we do. But before that was the idea that everybody, including the sun, rotated around us. I think I've got that right. Anyway, and so in that, you kind of have... I wanted to title this B, but I didn't have a bed and I didn't want to lose all my stuff, so I don't. But that's okay. Anyway, so... what happens? We then turn to heliocentrism, but we still are anthropocentric. And now what that means is we think about us when we are thinking about, how am I going to get to work today? We think, what's the easiest thing to do? Let's ride in the car. And obviously that's not great for the planet. It's not good for the animals, it's not good for the climate, it's not good for the environment. I mean, these may all sound like synonyms, but they're all slightly different things. Anyway, that is besides the point. Yeah, so anthropocentrism I think is a bad thing, and this poem, all about death, basically takes the most pure natural thing, which is life and death, and deconstructs it down into human concepts. It likens, it suggests that the bad bit of death isn't the dying or the loss of life. What it is it's all about the fact that you don't have these sort of human-made comforts and things, and the friendship and like the companionship that is found in the poem seems quite nice and pleasant, but in actual reality it's really sad, because what you have is everything is just like social constructs. So it's not about missing your loved one, it's about missing your wife doing things for you, or your kids becoming better people. It's like, yeah, it's about missing constructs of things rather than people themselves, which is really sad. And then further, the most important thing to my argument about anthropocentrism is this idea that obviously, the environment and the world revolves around humans. And so this is kind of seen best in the way that the environment is described. The environment is only described in a particularly positive light when it is somebody's favourite thing, their accustomed thing, the thing that they do regularly or have been known to value and cherish and enjoy, which kind of suggests that the world around us only has value because of us, which I think is really warped and sad. Because actually I think, and I mean this might be really controversial and horrible, I kind of think humans are the worst bit on this planet. I mean, I like people, I've got lots of friends, I've got lots of family, I've got a girlfriend, I quite like her, she's lovely, but if we're looking at the problems that are occurring on this planet, basically all of them are our fault. Yeah, in fact, there's no basically about it, really. The cows would be having a much better time without us, especially the cow that I just killed in Minecraft. But this then feels a little bit weird, doesn't it? Because I'm going on this sort of ecological rant, but I'm sat here on a computer. Ooh, maybe I'm just a massive hypocrite. I really don't know. And I mean, I switch my computer off whenever I'm not using it, and I try to limit what it's doing, but I still have a computer. Sure, every part in my current computer is second-hand. Some of it second-hand from old computers I built, some of it second-hand from the second-hand marketplace on places like eBay and Facebook. But it's still a computer. It's still, you know, right now it's on. It's pumping out, I think it's a gram of carbon dioxide every minute. Maybe it's faster than that. I genuinely don't know. I should know. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And I eat meat. I don't eat meat every day, but I eat it, you know, probably 4 out of 7 times a week. That's wrong. Or is it? It's not necessarily wrong to eat meat, but is it wrong to eat in the amounts we do? I don't know. Anyway, these are all just, you know, food for thought, if you will, as we're composting foods, or trying to at least. Trying to do some mental gymnastics and figure out what I have done and what I haven't done. It's tricky because I'm really stupid. But yeah, these are just, you know, things that keep me up at night. Am I a terrible person? Because you know, I'm learning to drive, you know, but it's difficult to live in this world and not drive. But that's an anthropocentric thing. The fact that we have built the world in a way that's we've built our world in a way that is unsustainable for the environment, and the way that, I mean, our outlook, it functions in a way that is detrimental to the environment. I mean, you literally heard me just say then the world, but no. We've not built the world in a way that fits us. We've built our perception and vision and version of the world in a way that fits us. And that is in many ways not the world that's actually out there for us. You know? We don't have this almighty understanding of what's going on and what will go on and has gone on, and how we can do things. Anyway, maybe I've ranted enough about ecology for now, but it's really interesting. I'll put in the description, if you want, the title of the wonderful article about anthropocentrism that I read, mostly about scientific anthropocentrism, but I applied it to literature because that's what you do. And I can try and find some other things too, but it's just really interesting, and I think it's really important in this day and age, because yeah, there's not going to be much planet left soon, and frankly I'm not that bothered if humans die out in 200 years, but I'd be really sad if it's our fault that we've killed, you know, civilizations of animals in years to come. It'd be really sad to deprive them of their chance to exist. You know, I don't believe in a heaven or a hell. I don't think that there's any good that we gain necessarily. I just think it's a bit wasteful, you know? But yeah, that's all well and good and fun and thought-provoking, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, I'm now trying to trade with the villager to get the stuff for dispenser and for daylight sensor and for the redstone lamp, because they've already actually entered the nether, but then they've left immediately because they've got nothing for it. And I try to front load everything that I need for the nether to then go into the nether. I do forget one thing, but it's okay, and that is the snow for the snow golem, but you'll find that later. But other than that, I managed to wrangle everything that I need, which is really good and helpful and wonderful. I'm trying to think. That's all my essays that I've written. That's been fun. I've gone on a lovely ecological rant. What can I talk about next? And this is where I could pause the recording, and then I could think of something, and then I could let it out when I've thought about it. But I don't really want to do that. So I, believe it or not, I quite like English. I major in it. That's crazy. But with some really cool stuff that I do, I work with the theatre. I'm not going to tell you which theatre because I don't want to dox myself, but I work with the theatre in the UK, and I abridge Shakespeare plays for their school festival, and that's coming up this week actually, after the weekend. I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really cool. It's been abridged, I have abridged it, and now I get to go and work with the kids to help them bring it together, and they get to play on the main stage of the theatre. And that's really cool and exciting, and I'm not going to lie, most of the time the kids are absolutely awful. But it's a really nice thing to do, and it gets them interested and invested in Shakespeare, and I think that's really lovely and important because, well, I love Shakespeare. I'd like if everybody liked Shakespeare. Oh, this gets me into another rant. I apologise. Your teachers, I don't know how old you are, but your teachers either do or did not want you to enjoy Shakespeare. And you think, well, that's counterproductive. But the majority of teachers, I'm not going to lie, get off on the fact that they get Shakespeare and you don't. But really, you do. You do get Shakespeare. Even if you don't think it, you think, wow, that language is so foreign and crazy and old, it might as well be German. But no. In many, many ways, we can think of this early modern English as just slang. It's just a different version of slang. It's quite similar to the Black Country accent, if you know that. But yeah, and so, firstly, the language actually makes sense if you try to forget the specifics and just think about the vague gists of sentences. You'll start to understand it more, and then you can figure out those specific words a bit better. But most importantly, the humour in Shakespeare is not sophisticated. 9 jokes out of 10 are penis jokes, 8 jokes out of 17 are sex jokes, and then the rest are about gender or sometimes race. These are like standard kind of teenage playground jokes to make, and some of them are very politically incorrect. A lot of them are, but they're not crazy and difficult and hard to understand. But the teacher is often trying to make it seem so that you feel like you can write your essay about it or whatever. But in reality, it's not. I mean, if you watch the Porter scene in Macbeth, the crux of that is kind of that what you have is this guy that's belching around the stage really drunk. And that's fair enough. I mean, that's funny. That's shocking to the audience then, and it's funny to an audience now, even still. I mean, the true beauty of the Porter scene is also that it just explains the entire play for you, both what's happened before and what will happen next, and it's genuinely one of Shakespeare's 2 best scenes ever written, in my opinion. But he's got a lot of very good scenes, I will give him that. I like that scene, and I really like, I think it's Act 2, Scene 3 from Othello. Was Act 2, Scene 3, I think, in Othello is the one where Cassio has his own little mini tragedy. And that's just so beautiful because it is an entire tragedy in one act. He gains reputation and he loses it all in one swoop, and it's just brilliant. It's just really well written. But I prefer the Porter scene because I think it's funny, I think it's fun, and I think it tells such a compelling story. But yeah, that's good. Anyway, so I get to do that, and I get to do that on Monday and Tuesday, which is going to be really fun. It does mean I have to miss out on a canoeing expedition with my dad, which is annoying because I'd have loved to go on a canoeing expedition with my father. But hey ho, it is what it is. You can't do everything, and I'd committed to this way before, and this probably looks better on CV than a canoeing expedition with your dad. That's what I imagine, at least. And I get to go canoeing with him the week after anyway, But I don't get to do that much canoeing anymore. I used to do quite a bit, but now I basically just do climbing. I go climbing multiple times a week, which is fun and it's cool and it's nice. I love climbing. I've got a really wonderful friend that I go climbing with in term time, but I can't go climbing with him now because he's off wherever he lives and I'm off wherever I live, which is not the same city, and it's definitely not the same city that we go to university in. Anyway, yeah, but it's fun and it's cool. But we're about halfway. No, we're not halfway. We're like nearly at the end of the draft out match now. I've just got to collect my stuff and enter the nether, and bing bang bosh, we're going to finish it off. I've been very academic in my little side notes. I apologise. I've got a very boring life. I say boring. It's quite thrilling. But the problem is I don't want to talk about any of the personal stuff that's going on, you know? Because it's like, that's personal. Maybe I will at some point, but then it's like, what do I say? I don't know. But yeah, what we do have perhaps is I had something to say, but I have forgotten it. What was it? I really need a drink, but I don't have one, and I finished the rest of my drink at the start of this recording, so I could pause, but I'm authentic, so I'm not going to do that. Ooh, yeah, I remember what happened here, and that's besides the point. You also, I don't know whether you're going to see the bars in the top of my window, because I might cut them out, and that would stretch the screen a little bit for you, but you might not notice until I point it out now, but I think it'll look better than having that the entire time. Also, if you're interested, more Boss Hunt coming soon. I just need to convince people to actually play. Because people are busy, and that sucks, because I just want to get one and record one, because I was really happy with the last episode, other than the fact that some people kind of played badly and through. But it's fine. Wait, can you make soul torches with just soul sand? It looked like you could there. I lost a game earlier to not being able to. Maybe I'm just stupid. I spent 20 minutes looking for a Soul Sand Valley, and maybe I didn't need to. That was the saddest loss ever, is the one after this. I'm not showing you. I was genuinely up like 7 goals. I just needed that, and I couldn't find it, even though I'd already done a Soul Campfire on the board. It was such a tragedy. It was actually horrible. It was like the worst I've ever felt playing DRAFTOUT. That's so sad. That's actually tragic. But yeah, there's like barely any goals left. I know it looks like you're only on 9 goals. You know, what you need to do left. But I'm going to start bing bang boshing them. Daylight detector. Done. Trying to get my way out is tricky. Don't judge, it's hard. It's hard. So I've got 10 goals. Can you guess now? I want you to write in the chat now, what 3 goals am I going to get in the next 2 minutes? I know, 3 goals, 2 minutes, you think, wow, that's intense. Now, if you guessed Soul Lantern, you would be right, because apparently I need to go into first. I don't need to go into first, I'm just wasting time. Soul Lantern, you'd be right. Well done. Congratulations. I applaud you. Good job. It's after midnight here, so I can't clap too loudly, even though what you've done is really good. Now, what do you think I'm going to get next? If you comment them in the right order, you can get bonus points. Crazy. Why am I getting bone blocks? Do I need bone blocks? No, I don't need bone blocks. I just need blocks to traverse because I want to get over to the other side. I'm just indecisive. I've not played enough DRAFTOUT to be like locked in with what I'm doing, you know? It's going to come though. You're going to see in the next day, or like in the next week, realistically, you're going to see a sub 20 DRAFTOUT game from me. You're going to see it. It's going to come. It's going to be easy and wonderful. But yeah, okay. 2 more goals. What are the 2 more goals? If you If you guessed the block one, the glowy redstone lamp one, redstone lamp, then you would be correct. I feel like a YouTube Shorts person, you know what I mean? And now what do you think the last one's going to be? Obviously it's going to be full diamond armour. That wasn't even an objective, don't worry, I'm not that silly. This is actually kind of TAS. Look at my incredible time save here. Beautiful movement, except I'm scared, but oh ho ho, shoot them for the victory. Thank you for watching, subscribe.